the deluge that's coming. So I'm jumping into another part here because my camera just told me that. So get what's occurring here. I was, I was raised Roman Catholic, so it was easy for me to vibrate with everybody as a, hey, I go to church. I got the whole Jesus thing down, and so you can't out Jesus me as far as when it comes time to moment of silence and put your hand on something. I'm okay with all that. If you believe, we do have a right to our faith, and we're all getting there our own way. And I've learned so much. I'm an ascended master now, ladies and gentlemen. I was just a colonel back then, but I'm a knight. I know that I am. And so I'm going to explain this to you about guys that made bad decisions that better learn how to forgive themselves and tell the truth, because they're all going to be in deep kimchi if they don't. This man, if you go by Bible, by Bible rules, he blasphemed the Holy Spirit, if you want to use that word, because he invoked it for the dark down at that hockey arena after 9/11. And everybody from MacDill got drug into that stadium. It was damn near, it wasn't half full, but there was several thousand people in the audience. And the drums were beat, and it was dark. Looking back, the whole performance was dark. And Jeb Bush invoked the Holy Spirit. And Jeb Bush managed the air training in Naples, Florida, and sanitized it at the conclusion. Because when I say black, I mean a government plane that's not accounted for on the white side, or is operating under the black umbrella of management, because they're all accounted for. They've got wings that have secret names that move people around in the black world, and the organizations have names, and they're tied in with the agency. So there's a white side and a black side, because those that don't need to know about what goes on the dark side do the best they can for the illusion of the storyboard that we're playing. So that's why we all did what we did. And I'm just catching you guys up so you can be on the right page here. And you got to forgive it all. These people that I'm laying out the truth here. Jeb needed to murder somebody to be a governor, to be in the CFR. Well, his father's the king of the dark sun, so he murdered people for meals probably. But I saw it. I've got him and his mother, and she was another piece of work. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, he invoked in that time frame. And so I'm telling you guys that the TTP from this guy, as the leader of the ground force in Iraq, was to just keep doing IEDs. You guys, this out of the box thinker, made sure that the redcoats got stuck. He put the American flag non-subdued on the shoulders to remind you that, hey, it's about being targeted, and this identity management issue of, yep, it's you. Before you get in there, we want to remind you that you're getting in there, even though he told us, go or they're not. Then he gets put in charge, and he does this for Bush. Okay, so the water board just needs to keep going up. I'm volunteering. And so what am I saying here about the redcoats? Redcoats 5G. It's redcoats, but the 5G Wi-Fi from Johns Hopkins is bashing everybody's brains in while they're going from point A to point B, just to excite the hockey game of the moment, because it scrambles your head, especially when you're trying to put out enough energy to make a cell phone detonate an IED. So it's crazy energy management for the sake of you rolling through it faster and faster and over, and I know people that died. So I was living, I had success. I'm waterboarding myself. Okay, I'll tell the truth. I made a shit ton of money. I ran my business with my ex-wife out of my house. She was very smart. She had homeschooled my children. and I turned her on to additional duties one at a time. And then I hired a couple of other brilliant ladies, one of whom is the major reason for our company's success. Forget about me and my wife. A lady named Vicky Bergeron, who's phenomenal. It's just one word, phenomenal. And I'm so blessed that people pointed me to her, and she knows that we did good, and she got everything she needed to live a nice life with her partner Dan, and what a rock star she is. So here we are now at this place where we all lived, and I'm telling you that one or two things can happen with all this. But first I'd like to say that we have to have compassion. Our Creator, damn it, have compassion for me. Our Creator expects us to have compassion for people that are in self-trouble. So this is not a time to pile on when you learn this and want to go get them. Because you're going to learn about a lot of people that, for one reason or another, need to tell the truth. And the truth's going to hurt. But once it hurts and you forgive it, then you're putting everything to bed yourself, as opposed to taking it to your dreams and wondering what the hell you're doing on this planet. So, yeah, I think that was the last. Let's see what happens if I turn it back on. I always do these songs to back it up. Okay, I'll get back with you on this one. I'm gonna stop it. Alright, I'm gonna let this play. I'll let you read it. Let me pause it. Okay, facts. President Bush Sr. masterminded 9/11. Fact number 2, the Rangers are the best infantry fighting force in the world. Fact number 3, for some reason, their devotion to the dark side triggers action against the very military that took oaths to defend our bankrupt nation. And that's the way they operate. So, because the president, we know by law that the president has the authority with the CIA to perform assassinations. And so, in hindsight, we know that our own people have been assassinated. There's a very famous special forces guy whose first name was Bo, I think it was Bo Gritz, potentially, who was killed in Korea. And so these assassinations are done by presidential order, and surprisingly, it's our own people that are getting hit. So in this case, I think that by presidential order, through the CIA, and is likely been executed, obviously, there was an order put out to conduct this operation. There must have been. And I would say that whoever was the commander of USSOCOM at that time, along with the commander of USSOCOM at that time, would know what the deal was. I'll throw JSOC in there too, because they're at Fort Bragg, making sure training is standardized. So there's supposed to be standardized operating procedures. I mean, I can say that out loud. That's what those guys do. The mission of JSOC, as we know, is to make sure there's interoperability training that occurs with our forces. That's the whole reason they were stood up, because of that accident. We know that. That's why JSOC is there. I'll say it again. Out loud. As though there was some need for classification. They do training for interoperability, so the Army can talk to the Navy, but I guess, the Rangers can't even talk to each other without blowing their own heads off, and they have NVGs. But, hitting a guy in the back of the head, what are you doing? Are you lining up across from each other to shoot, or are you just, what formation are you in? Is it a Civil War formation where the back row kneels down and while the front row remains standing? No. I apologize for disgracing guys who know how to fight. And I really have empathy for any warrior who's listening to this going, man, I thought I was in for something good. And you were. But this is the rest of the truth.